Hello, Cardi. Yes, you are live. No
Hello.
pressure. So we were just introducing ourselves, but we can do it again really quick so you know. I'm Kate.
I'm Emma.
I'm Beth.
And I am Cardi.
Heck yes. So we're going to start by just saying thank you, of course, to you for agreeing to come on and hang out with us.
Thank you for
Um,
having me.
of course, it's really exciting for us. Obviously, we've been, kind of following along from the beginning. And I think I can speak for all three of us when I say that we started this and we were like, wow, this voice. Like, we had never really heard anything from yours before. I remember listening to the CD, you came on, and it was just like, this person's amazing. Like, this is wow. And so we knew. We were like, we have to interview them. We have to this is just perfect. So we're really, 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 really happy that you are doing this. And now I'm going to put Emma in charge for a minute.
Fantastic.
Stuck with me, I'm
I love the
afraid.
filters.
So I think we've got a lot of questions, so we're just gonna jump straight in. But I
Cool.
think the first thing that we were gonna mention was that for us, as even for us being on the outside of it, it's been like a crazy few months. So what is the last sort of few months? He's just gonna play with filters all the time and it's gonna distract
We're
me.
going to cause
ADHD
chaos.
here, okay?
Right.
But what
I'll
has it been
start.
like
I'll
for
start.
okay, what's the last few months been like for you since the album dropped?
Um, what's the last few months been like? Um, in relation to the album, I mean, it's been cool. I mean, it's definitely been interesting having a lot of new eyes on me. Um, yeah, no, Renata, I did have a filter on. I was taking the mic. But anyway, um, yeah, it's weird to have a lot more eyes on me, but also I'm prepared for that without sounding very arrogant. Um, I'm gearing up now to like start releasing a lot more and putting a lot more effort into my release campaigns. So um, I'm expecting to grow a little bit now, which is good because I know I have the capability as a producer.
Definitely,
Um, and
yeah.
then obviously
Yeah.
as a performer, this is just another way of um, like getting my face out there and getting my voice out there. So I'm quite excited for the prospect. And I mean, I'm still young, but I'm not like, I'm not like 18 anymore. So it's really kind of like, oh, that was my car. Um, it's really like, okay, well now we're in work mode, so I need to like really focus. So I guess it's the last few months have kind of been like an eye opener. Like, okay, things are starting now. Like, let's go, which is good.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think so. That was my sort of thought process on the whole thing too. Like it can only be good, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Any
yeah.
getting out
I
there,
mean,
anything's good.
yeah, I mean, look, am I a musical singer? No, but I'm a singer nonetheless, and so whatever opportunity comes to me, I'll gladly take it in in an attempt to further my career as a musician. I mean, even yeah. Sorry, I'll quickly like um transition as to what I was doing today. Is the reason why I'm late. Very, very incredibly sorry, by the way. Um, but yeah, so today, basically, an artist that I follow that I'm a really big fan of, from America, was in London and did like a meetup in Hackney in Weatherspoons.
Nice.
So which
Can't
is
beat
quite funny.
Weatherspoons.
Well,
With
I
spoons.
don't really like. It's fine either way. But I was there and like basically all of my like, well, not all of my, that's an exaggeration, but like about six or seven other contemporaries of mine were like there, and so it kind of became a little like, oh, I'm gonna sit down, like, oh, haha, Lamau, that's Dorian Electra, that's cool, but then also like sitting and chatting about music stuff and like finding new people to follow on Instagram and potentially work with in the future, which is nice. But yeah, it was in bloody Hackney, so I needed to come all the way the other side of London, and that's why District Line took me a hot minute.
That's cool. We don't mind. I mean, obviously we weren't the most important part of the day, which is a bit sad, but I'm joking, obviously.
Uh,
um, um, So I think, we've seen so much love for you and your voice and your performances and just everything. Do you feel that too? Like, do you see that? Do you get to see the like sort of backlash of the good backlash of the
Backlash.
well, good
um,
and bad, I suppose, right?
nah, there's no bad. It's just all good vibes. I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest. Everybody's been really, really nice. Everybody's telling me that my voice is amazing. Everybody's telling me I'm the best thing since sliced bread, which is always nice. It's always nice to hear. Um, I'm pretty good at keeping my head on straight in regards to when people talk like that to me or about me. Because I am like I embrace the fact that I'm my own worst critic, and I'm my I'm my own worst critic, but I'm also my best critic because I know myself and I know when I've done a good job and I know when I've done a bad job and when whatever. And I don't self-deprecate in that sense. I'm just extremely honest with myself. So when people tell me, "Oh, well done on this, well done on that," of course I appreciate it. But ultimately, the only opinion that matters to me in terms of how I internalize all of this is my own, because I don't ever want other people to impart their opinions on my practice. I'm
Yeah.
totally fine with receiving, criticism, but it's like I'm not gonna, positive or negative. This is the point. Like, if somebody tells me I'm fantastic, I'm really cool. I'm very happy that you think that, but I know that I'm working on this, and I'm like, that's not gonna go to my head. That's not a signal for me to stop.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I get that.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, you never stop working, like, and learning and improving and progressing. Like that, it just doesn't, you don't get to a certain space and stop.
Yeah. I think I'm working on accepting the compliments as well, because it's not something that I'm very used to. Not that I don't get compliments, like, I get as many compliments as the next person, but like getting getting used to receiving compliments for my work specifically, that's interesting. Like, because I'm a rambler, so if I'm um, like when I was a kid, I had a lot of people talking to me about because I started as a violinist, and people saying, "Oh, you're so good, such a good violinist," blah blah blah, and I had teachers telling me that I was really smart, and I was like, "Oh, I was gifted in maths and all of this stuff," and as a kid, that went to my head, and I became this little arrogant idiot, like, "Oh, I'm amazing, this and that." And then I went to secondary school and I met other people that were like a lot better than me at a lot of things, and that was so important, and that kind of shock really really frustrated me as a person. Obviously I was a kid, but that kind of mental jiggery whatever, like, brain melding, I don't want to get that to that point ever. I want to make sure that I'm really in control and I'm really uh, mindful of what's going on with my career and my capabilities. That's not to say I don't value myself. I very much value myself.
Well, we value you too. I mean, I
Epic.
will
Yeah.
say that when we heard that the Playing with Fire was coming out, we were like, who are they going to get that can match JC? Like who, And you nailed it. Like you nailed it. And I'm not going to give you too much praise and embarrass you on camera, but you did nail
Thank
it. I think,
you.
and I think there's ways of seeing that because for a period of time, the Playing with Fire soundtrack outsold like Wicked and Sabrina Carpenter, and like I mean it was a day or two, but you guys were number one. That's like a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, when that happened, I was kind of like, lol, like, because it was just silly. I was like, well, obviously, I understand how it works. I mean, like, the most sales that happen to any record are on the first and second day, or
Mhm.
not including pre-order and stuff. But um, so it was to be expected that it would do better than a lot of things because of JC's it was a great marketing campaign. It was a great idea to begin with. You know, you guys have been waiting for a long while for something from JC. It was inevitably going to do somewhat well, but when I saw it like hit like it was like number one in the album charts on Apple for like a day or two, I was like, okay, this is getting a bit out of hand. Like this is a bit wild. So, you know, that's fun. And then all of you guys, not you specific. Oh, I don't know if you specifically, but like so many of the fans of that have like really got on board with the stuff I do, which I didn't think would happen for a like for anything. I didn't think that would happen because I make weird music.
I love your
Um,
weird
Yeah.
music. Just saying,
Yeah.
putting it out there. I
that's the vibe.
absolutely
This
love
is
it.
the thing. This is the thing. People are supposed to like my weird music, but some people don't, and I don't judge them for that. But I love that you do like it, so thank you very much. But yeah, some of you, some fans have like bought it on Bandcamp, and this is like the first time that like money has been
Me.
directly going to me from. Yeah, thank you.
It's it.
Money has been going directly from my music to me, which is it's not the first time that's happened as such, but in terms of the stuff that I make, that doesn't happen very often. I mean, obviously, when I do things for other people, they're paying me for a service.
Yeah.
But when it's music that I'm making for me, and then I release it, you don't usually see money happen on that as an as an independent artist because you know streams pay like they pay three no they pay point 0.3 thousandths of a penny per stream.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
That's so
ridiculous.
bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so as in like if you were to stream one of my songs on your own 10,000 times, you would be making me 3 pence.
Wow. That's I can't even do the math on how much I'd need
It's
to
just
just buy you a cup of coffee,
ridiculous.
you know? Like
Yeah, no, that's the thing. And I'm probably getting that wrong actually. In fact, it was almost as definitely wrong. But it's a number similar to that. I'm probably like an order of magnitude off or something. Um, but yeah, like this is the thing is the comparison between, you know, if you was to listen to my music 40,000 times, or like one song of mine 40,000 times, that would be the equivalent of buying the track on Bandcamp for 99 pence.
which is
It's
crazy,
as
isn't it,
simple
really?
as that. It's really weird.
Mm.
But you know, I've done like 2 degrees in like modern music making that I've looked into why this is happening and I completely understand it. It's a kind of a weird political situation between people that believe that there should only be good music and people that believe all music is art and worthwhile, and it's something called the democratization of music, which I'm personally all for. So it's kind of hypocritical for me to be complaining about stream numbers, but people are hypocritical and people are different, and
Mm.
I'm you know
Two things can
I'm
be
a
true at once, you
weirdo.
know?
Yeah.
Exactly, and also I love talking and thinking about music, so that's
And
fun.
we're definitely going to get back to, you know, androgynize and Bandcamp and all of that. But I do want to ask a few more playing with fire questions, if that's okay.
Yeah. No, I didn't mean to divert anyone.
No, of course not. So my last question for this bit is, what is your favorite song on the album and why?
I think I've been asked this before, and don't even remember what I said, but I think I said father.
It's a good one.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite.
Um, I'm trying to think through them all.
Oh, don't worry, we'll be testing your memory on some of them a little later. No pressure.
Yeah, no, but I mean like which ones are my favorite? Because the thing is, there was oh, I can't say that. There was there's a song that
I
I
want to know
really
now.
liked. No, there's a song that I really liked that I was looking forward to. I was looking forward to do stuff with, but it like changed last minute basically. And that song was really good. That's the one that's like JC on his own. Um, you used to touch me. That song.
It's
Um,
very
Yeah.
good song.
yeah,
It's a great song.
because I had loads of ideas about it, but I think me and Jimmy were in talks about doing something else, and it didn't quite line up timing wise because I've got a really cool thing coming up for me next year. But anyway, um, y- yeah, without saying too much, obviously, because I think it's still going to happen, but not. We'll see. I'm
So
probably
we'll
saying
just
too much
keep our
anyway.
eyes peeled on that
Um,
front then.
yeah, yeah. But I think that one is really good, and then also Father is like one of my faves.
It's,
Good
that's a
one.
good one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just so sassy. Like, as I, separate from the lyrics, separate from the storyline, just the delivery is just like, "I didn't know what to do, yeah." It's just like really like it's really in sync. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels
No
like it fits in
pun
that element.
intended.
No, no, no. I mean, it's in sync, as in the band,
Yeah.
Yes,
not
yes.
in sync. Yeah, but it fits so well, and yeah, I just JC's voice is really cool, and it just sounds like sass personified. It's just fantastic.
It
Well,
definitely is. I agree.
that works well. And that
Agreed.
goes well with the next question because, we obviously have a lot of NSYNC fans that follow the page and stuff too. And there's, we've all heard about JC in the studio, obviously been producing for years. So, of course, we have to ask, what is JC like? Like, what was it like working with? Because we know he's very perfectionist when it comes to his music. He wants it,
Yeah,
very serious, very well done. And obviously, we get amazing work as a result. So, of course, we've had a few people that are like, what's he like? So, we have to ask you, what's it like
yeah.
working with somebody of JC's magnitude in the studio?
Oh, it's wonderful. Um, I mean, I told this story on I think the podcast or talking to somebody else. I don't remember, but basically I didn't realize it was him for about the first two sessions, so I just treat it like anybody. And I think even if I did, I would have treated it the same way. I mean, I've worked with people, big names before, and it's just kind of like you get to know that once you've worked with one, they're all kind of like on the same wavelength. Like in terms of like good musicians, like you just know how to act in those situations. And point being is that like no matter how much you might pedestal somebody in your own brain, they're another human, and they have their own little quirks, and they have their own everything else, just like me, just like you. So it's just important to humanize people when that happens. And that makes it just easier on yourself to work. um but for me, yeah, JC was. I think it's interesting talking about perfectionism because JC definitely did. Um, like there were definitely points in which he was kind of directing and critiquing takes of mine, where I was okay, like, oh wow, you're really like this is very deliberate. This is very deliberate of you. Um, and I appreciate that. I mean, in especially in situations where I'm kind of providing a service. Service sounds really weird, but um, in those situations, it's really important to have uh, to have a really clear vision. And JC just does have that. He's brilliant, and what helps is that he doesn't. He's not overbearing with it. He's incredibly polite, massively grateful, thankful, incredibly nice, well humored, like just really, really pleasant man. Um, so that also helps. And I mean, uh, it's interesting actually. I changed my name because I'm sure you've all realised or at least had thoughts about why my name is in fact Cardamon. So I changed my name as of coming out. Well, not as of coming out. I came out as non-binary like years ago, um, but my name change was something that I'd struggled with a little bit, and then it happened. But JC and Jimmy had worked on me in the period of which I was not Cardamon. I was going by the my previous name,
Right.
um, and in that transition when I changed and I told them like, "Hey guys, just so you know, I'm going by Cardi now," and they were just like, yeah, okay. And it's like, it's just kind of pleasant when things go smoothly like that.
Oh yeah,
Um,
sure.
especially like as a queer person, like having had different reactions um to standing my ground when it comes to uh my identity and my pronouns and everything. Some people react badly. Some people do react very badly. They get frustrated with themselves, but then frustrated with me for forgetting. As in, they've forgotten to use they them, for example, and then they get annoyed at me for enforcing the rule. And I'm like, actually, no, I don't think I want to be around you if you're going to do that.
Yeah,
Um,
For sure.
but
Yeah.
but my vibe is, if I haven't told you what my pronouns are, that's not your problem. Like you haven't you like, for whatever you to assume, whatever, I don't care. But once I've told you, if you make the mistake and you correct yourself, fine. Yeah, chill. If you make the mistake and then I correct you, even that's like fine, right? But it's when it's, when it becomes a thing,
right.
right? Because at work, like where I work, I'm lucky everybody's like pretty chill. um Going to the shops when somebody refers to me as like, oh, the gentleman over here, I kind of like have like an internal like eye roll, but it doesn't really affect me. But it's when, like if a close friend of mine was to routinely make that mistake, I just wouldn't be able to be mates with them, because it's just like, okay, well, you just don't get it, and this is quite an integral part of who I am. But point being, it was so easy for Jimmy and JC to just get it right. They slipped up a couple times, um, but JC was always, like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Like, it doesn't need to be a big thing, but the fact that they were willing to get on with it and to
Yeah.
deal with that,
Oh yeah,
it's not,
definitely.
it's not common at the moment, and so I'm very happy that they reacted like that, and they've not treated me any differently, so that's good.
But they're good. I've only met JC once, but he was probably one of the nicest people I have
Yeah, he
ever talked to in my entire life. And it was like,
genuinely,
oh, yeah,
genuinely,
yeah. I mean, just like I felt very happy that I got to talk and like they think, he thanked us for the page, and I was like, no, like
he's
you were amazing, and he's just like, no, no, you're like so humble, so nice. So I'm glad to hear that is true all around.
oh, absolutely.
I know, obviously. Oh yes, and Jimmy. I haven't gotten to meet Jimmy yet, but hopefully someday.
Jimmy's great.
Obviously,
Jimmy's a great laugh.
say Jimmy seems like a really good time. We're hoping to someday maybe corral him onto the page because he's the
Yeah.
only one. He's the only one that doesn't follow us. So if Jimmy watches this
To
later, we're gonna have a little
be fair,
argument with him.
he's
He
like,
doesn't
if you
follow
think about it,
anybody. Yeah,
what he's a if you think about it this way, right? He's a producer. Yeah,
yeah.
he's a producer from like the advent of the internet
They don't
times. Is when
age
he
him.
What? No, no, no.
Don't give
But
out
like,
his age, Cardi.
no, no. But as in, like, his success happened before this was all
Yeah.
necessary. So
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
he doesn't need an Instagram. But the fact that he does is just to, like,
he
I'd be
does.
surprised if he uses it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
He does. Oh
No,
no,
he
he checks
does.
in all the time. He
Yeah.
checks in with us all the
I
time.
said
Oh well,
we get
then yeah, there you go, Jimmy. Follow him then.
Yeah.
go. You heard it, Jimmy. Cardi's plug-in now. Obviously though, they're all in California. You're not. So when it came to producing, what was it like? Like was there any challenges really to you literally being, 8 hours ahead of them, the time zone difference, you have parts where like your voice is either with Lily or JC, like kind of back and forth. Obviously when you're singing it, you're not hearing, you're getting the demos, I know, to listen to the demos and everything, but the demos were just JC. So you didn't really get that, what the back and forth really sound like with your voice added in, things like that. So did you find it challenging to be trying to record as if you're with somebody, that you're not? Or was it just kind of a natural flow?
Um, no, I mean, I've done lots of things to that in that sense before. Like, you sing to a backing track, you sing to a demo, you sing to a click track. I mean, there's loads of things that have similar like work processes, like workflows and stuff. So you do just get used to it after a while. It's definitely daunting the first couple of times, but point being, so long as the vision is quite direct, and so long as the people you're working with are nice enough to kind of work it through you, you know, like you kind of workshop it in the same way that, like, if you imagine as an actor that they do table reads, um you know, if they're going through it all together so that they can all understand the context of which their lines exist. Because before the film is filmed, that doesn't exist. That image doesn't exist, and it needs to be created conceptually in their head. That is the same thing with audio, you know, before it's recorded, before the final picture exists or the final recording exists, you need to know about how you're going to approach it. And a certain level of that comes with experience, but also a certain amount of it comes from dialogue. And so that, so long as there's enough of there, so long as there's enough there, you're okay. It doesn't really matter about whether the product is there or not, if that makes sense. And
Oh, it
Jimmy
does.
and JC are brilliant for that. So
Yeah, I have a
Was
feeling they
there
really made that vision good for you.
yeah.
was there like any like parts of like where you just got really nervous about it and you or like slightly anxious because you seem like somebody who's just gonna like deal with the situation and then have emotions later, but like was there any time you were just like, oh my gosh?
Nah, I'm no, I no, I don't get nervous that much. Not because, again, not because I'm cocky, but because I don't see the point in being nervous. Um, as in like, you know, it's completely different with like performing, because, you know, like anxiety when it comes to that's a whole different thing. But like in regards to when I'm working with people, I'm at work. That's it.
It's like your
What?
comfort zone. You're good there.
Well, you know, I've spent enough time doing this stuff, like, so I should be comfortable when I'm doing it. Do you know what I mean? Um, the only thing that would have made it potentially nerve wracking is if it was somebody, if it was you know, if I was you know, if we were all in the process, in the recording session, if we were doing that in front of like in front of the label
Yeah.
exec, for example, or in front of somebody that was sponsoring something, or, you know, somebody that had money involved but wasn't directly involved in the music per se, and, you know, they had a certain vision about it, or um you know, or for example, if I had to go out to LA, that would be a bit daunting because, you know, I'm in a new place, but ultimately I'm in my house, so you know, I'm doing everything as I'm used to, so there's no reason for me to be nervous other than, oh, there's a celebrity in front of my screen. But I don't I celebrity's fun. I think the whole idea of like celebrity is hilarious. So I kind of like playing around with it.
I think, do you have like a favorite memory or a fun memory or something like that just during the whole process? Like, not necessarily just since the album's been out, but since you guys started, because I'm guessing it's like a long time ago.
Uh,
Oh, there we go.
Later.
Hello?
Um, yeah, no, I got it. Let's think. First of all, um, I just needed to check that my battery saving mode was on. Um, favorite or funny or thingy. I guess finding out like it was JC. Because like I
Surprise!
was, I
Yeah.
told this story again because sorry, I told this again before. But basically, the first few I didn't know it was him really, and then in during a break, we were just showing each other like demos of other stuff that we were working on, just, you know, like just casually, you know. Um, and Jimmy showed me something he was working on with another artist, and I said, "Oh yeah, love this. Sounds very in sync." Um, and then Jimmy starts laughing. JC kind of grimaces, and I'm like, "What? What's going
What have
on?"
I done? Yeah.
Yeah. And then Jimmy's like, "I, I, it was just funny that you said in sync." And I'm like, oh, why? And Jimmy's like, JC is JC from NSYNC. And I'm like, ooh. And I was just like, ah. And because I think beforehand I'd been going like, you know what, you're really familiar. And of course he's going, really. But it completely went like over my head at the beginning. And then obviously I clocked and it was just funny.
Well done. At least you figured it out. It got a little less weird when you figured it out, probably.
Yeah,
So obviously, so yeah, after that little awkward moment, obviously you sing on a lot of the songs. We know "How Do You Sleep" is the first one that like JC and Jimmy wrote. What one was the first one that you got to actually record for Playing with Fire? If
hold
you
on a
remember,
quick second.
don't die on your phone.
Yeah, no, I just put, because I didn't want it to connect to the car for Bluetooth, but I do need it to charge. There we go, sorted.
Good call.
Right. The first one that I recorded.
Yeah, if you remember.
Uh,
I mean, you've only on like one or two. It's not like it's.
It's done. It's done the thing. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Does it sound any worse?
No.
No, that's exactly the same.
Oh, sick. Okay, right. Yeah. Okay. So now, inadvertently, you guys have connected to my car. Anyway. Um.
How do you sleep?
You sleep. Yeah, that was the first one I did.
Okay.
Yeah, it was How Do You Sleep?
That's kind of fitting. That's kind of cool. The first one they write is the
Yeah.
first one you get to record. That would be
Well,
kind of neat.
it's because it's the one they sent me to to trial.
No
Like,
fire.
Okay.
yeah. Because they got me to do it in my accent, then in an American accent, then in my my own style, and they really liked it, so they decided to do that. But then they didn't want my accent in it because obviously it makes it it's very specific. I mean, to have like a British accent and then an American accent doesn't really make sense. And obviously, as a singer, I'm used to putting on the American accent for other clients.
Right.
And yeah, that was about it. I think, yeah, How Do You Sleep was the first one, really. We recorded it a couple times.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then obviously a lot of yours you do. I mean, technically you're doing two different characters because you're doing Frankenstein, but you're also doing Frankenstein,
Yeah,
younger
yeah,
as
yeah.
Victor. So when you're doing that, like one thing we all kind of noticed is with yes, it's like that. The very different. I mean, you guys both do it, you and JC. With yours too, we've noticed like with both of you that the two characters have very different sounds. Victor's voice kind of you almost do it like a little softer. It's like the slightly more innocent. The love and kind of before everything
Uh,
happens, before
yeah.
the creature is made. Yeah,
So,
and then like Frankenstein's kind of sounds more gruff. Like obviously he's been through some things and all that. When you were recording, did you find that was kind of an intentional thing that the two voices are so different sounding, or is that just
right.
kind of a Cardi special?
So, confession, I
Uh-oh.
I was like, they were like, oh, you're playing this thing. It didn't, it didn't really sink into my head what any of it meant. Because I was just like, because at the beginning, you've got to think I'm just going, right, yeah, I'm a character, okay. Like, I'm just getting on with it. I'm at work. But, and so I think they were, they were trying to set the scene. And then they were like, oh, you're going to sing this part as well. And I was like, oh, okay. But I didn't think about how, I was like, do you want me to put on it? And they were just like, no, but it's like, it's
Two
imagine
characters.
this. And then
Yeah.
basically after the first recording session, I think I just resigned my brain to the idea that you know what, I'll just sing and they'll tell me what to do. And that's how it worked. I just did a take, and then Jimmy would go, no, can you do it a bit more like this? And then I'd be like, yeah, right. And then I'd do it. That's the thing, especially with
Well, it
things
works
like this.
good.
Yeah, that's the point. I do my job. I'm good at my job. But yeah, if I if I had to put it down to them making that decision or me, it was definitely them.
So, like, talking about Frankenstein and Victor, if you got the chance to, like, maybe at a concert or like a small performance, like a, and anything like that, would you do it on
Yeah,
stage, like in
of
front of
course.
all us?
Yeah, of
Because we
course.
want you. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's harder. I understand, like, with the musical long term, that obviously they're going to need actors, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But like for like concerts and stuff, we want the OG,
Yeah, yeah,
like that's what we.
yeah. I'm down. I mean, that would be hilarious. I mean, also, uh, it's just an excuse to to sing on stage, which is always fun. I do gigs now and then, but be honest, I can't be asked. Like, because I've got to set it up, and then I've got to do the promotion, and then I've got to do the flyers, and I've got to get the venue sorted, and then either that or I have to go through somebody else's gig, and then I don't know whether I'm going to be first on the lineup or whether I'm going to be like in a pub singing to like three people that are like, I don't know, really not interested in my type of music. So it's I have a whole kind of like love-hate relationship with performing. But when it's something like this, where it's like, okay, no, I'm doing a thing for people that want me to do this thing, yeah, I love it. Like I used to sing I used to sing in like school choirs in bands. I used to play in orchestras, and whenever it's that vibe where it's like people have come to see you do this thing, I'm like, oh, cool. Because it's like, oh, are you disappointed? Well, I'm doing my job, so sharp. Like, whereas like at a gig, if it's like, oh, I didn't like it, then it's like, oh, well, you didn't like my music, and then I'm like, ah, God's sake, and then I'm like, oh, well, that's like a wasted opportunity. Do you know what I mean? Whereas with this, it's kind of like, well, we know the music's good, and we know you like it because you've come to see that specifically.
That's it. Do you think it would be difficult to do? I mean, so all the songs, like to sing them, record one at a time is one thing, but to perform them all with the consistency and those notes and stuff, would it be like difficult, or are you just completely professional? Like, nah, I got this.
Um, Probably wouldn't do it that well. Nah, I'll be fine. Also, yeah, live auto tune.
It's a thing.
Yeah, it exists. So, but like, it exists and it's good. It's not even like really obvious anymore. It's pretty decent. So I might just use that. Who knows? No, but a lot of it because it is because it's a weird mix of like pop and classical styles of singing. Um, it makes it a little easier because it also is not too fast. You know, the real reason that recording it takes time is because you want to make every instance perfect. But the magic of live performance is that that doesn't matter. It's about connection between performer and audience, and that basically means that what you're singing only has to hit a certain standard. That's not to say I'm not going to put my all into a performance. It's just what I've noticed and what I've researched in terms of like um it's a weird one because like do you ever go to a concert and you film it, right? Or if you filmed bits of it on your phone and you remember how amazing it was and you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad I got that filmed, and then you look back at the film and you're like, oh, that was a bit naff. And it's because the energy is there.
Yeah.
It's more about that. It's not about the film. Nevertheless, don't get me wrong, I still film everything that I go to just so that I have, a memory of it physically. But, I'm not going back and looking through them and going, oh my God, this moment was so fantastic. I can't believe I'm so happy to have it on camera. Because no, it's not, it's never the same. It's oh, I'm glad I got to experience that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
For sure.
definitely.
I think I'm gonna put it back onto Kate, and she's gonna play a little game with you for a minute.
Yeah,
Yes, we can
games.
see. Little game. So it's going to be real quick. Basically, it's a song association. So I'm going to name one of the songs from the album, and you're just going to tell me whatever comes in your mind first, like just the first thought you have.
Oh, so it doesn't have to be a song, it just has to be anything.
No, I'm going to name one of the songs,
Yeah.
and then you get to tell me what it makes you think of. Because I know there's a few that make people in general think of certain things. So we'll see how you do. So we'll start with like a fan favorite that apparently you have a good tie with anyways. So how do you sleep?
Bed. Wait,
This is how
wait,
the
wait,
world ends.
wait, wait,
Okay,
wait, wait,
no,
wait, 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 wait.
take it
Do,
back.
no, but as in, do you want me to do this based because I'm autistic, so I've got to know what you mean. So, do you mean like the sound of the song, or do you mean the title?
So
Either
like
one.
what the other week when we did
You're
that
gonna get
like
some really basic answers.
when we did the
Okay.
matching game and
Yeah,
you
I was
like
just
changed it to
say.
like when I was
Yeah,
at
yeah, yeah,
uni
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, we loved that. That was
Okay,
fantastic.
all right.
But how do you sleep in bed goes really well together because I've shared this with JC before. My youngest, that's her favorite song, and we have to play it for bed every night. Like instead of Brahms' Lullaby or something that like a normal like child song. And she comes in, and you'll love this too. She has to be JC, and I have to sing all your parts, and we have to do a full blown theatrical performance before she can go to bed
Hell yeah.
every night, like every single night.
Oh, that's the
So
life though. Imagine having a kid that's so like sweet and likes things like
she's
that. That's adorable.
she had yeah, she met JC and she was all like, "This is my," and the
Oh,
song was playing when she met him,
you
so it
showed
was
me
like
the you showed
perfect.
me the video, didn't
I
you? It was
did.
adorable.
Yes, that's right. Yep. She. We still have to hear it every single night. I have that song
You're gonna
down
hate the
so
bloody
well.
music. We'll give it another few months.
Yeah, there are nights, I'm not gonna lie, there are nights where I'm kind of like,
Yeah,
can we listen to something else?
yeah, of
No, it's that one
course.
every time, ever since it came out. So that's a good one. All right, next one. This is how the world ends. You have to think which song that is.
No, well, my brain just went Putin, but
Mine does
See,
that a
that's what
lot.
we want. Do we just want your first answers? That's hilarious.
fair enough.
I like that answer.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fucking terrified. So anyway,
No, I told you no pressure. It's fine.
no,
Okay,
I
fine.
mean of Putin.
I think
Oh,
we
I
all
mean
know.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. The animation. That's a fun one.
Attack on Titan because I'm currently binging it. It's amazing.
Ooh, nice. Broken. I know your answer in the matching was my favorite. What's your
I
answer
don't
for
remember.
broken?
I don't remember what it was.
Something about like his
Glass.
wife died. I'm sad. I cry. That's what
Oh
you
yeah,
Yeah.
put.
glass.
There we go. There we go. I found death at the university.
Yeah, no, that's very specific. Whenever I think of that, I think of that very specific thing that is probably not good to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can skip that. The beginning.
The beginning, birth, being born, a baby,
Well done. Okay, last one. I'll be nice. Last one. Father.
my dad.
Oh, good answer. Okay. So see, you survived. You survived. Obviously we've talked a lot about playing with fire, which has been fun. We love talking about playing with fire. We're gonna make it easier on you now, don't worry. Because now we know right before playing with fire, actually it was what, like 2 weeks before playing with fire, that you actually dropped your own album. Like that was your big thing. You had
Yeah, the
Androgenize
EP.
come
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
no,
So
Androgenize was years
oh,
ago.
that's true.
This
Yeah, you know,
was
your next one.
yeah,
So like
yeah.
obviously that was a huge deal. So tell us a little bit about it. This is your little shameless plug time. Tell us a little bit about having an album like that just came out recently too. Little
Well,
shameless plug.
so Androgenize came out in 2023, I think.
Yes, a couple of years. Last year. Yeah.
That was so that was my debut album. It was my like I'm here, I'm queer kind of look at me, listen to me, I'm so sexy, I'm so weird. Um it was just like the funnest thing ever. And like it was when I really started to feel good about the music I was producing because I went through this kind of like rebrand. Um Anyway, but less about that, more about A Love So Shy, which came out, yeah, 2 weeks before the musical. That was an EP of 4 songs that were really. Basically, I broke up with my partner about 2 years ago or something. Um, and at the beginning, it wasn't. like at the beginning, it just wasn't really a breakup. We kind of were still friends, and then he met somebody else, and then it like turned my world upside down because I just hadn't processed it at all. Anyway, long story short, I went wacko. I went super, super, super wacko. Not like dangerous wacko, but like just depressed, like just not good. And it made me do a whole lot of introspection. I realized a lot of the mistakes that I'd made in the relationship and outside of the relationship. And it just was a period of intense, intense growth. And it was horrible. It was absolutely gut wrenching. It was like the closest I've been to like completely like imploding, like the craziest I've ever been, and the most unhappy and just miserable and psychotic that I'd ever been. Anyway, but yeah, so I decided that through all of that growth that I made over time, and it was a long time, trust me, it took me a hot second to re-find the person that was hiding behind all of the but like I did find them, and I fell in love with love again, and I fell in love with living, and I fell in love with all of the things that I had been kind of shutting out. Um, and the EP is about finding beauty in sadness, or escaping your own self purgatory, or whatever. It's basically about it's an EP that says, "Oh my God, stop beating yourself up. Oh my God, go outside and look at a flower. Oh my God, isn't it so nice that you have a family? Oh my God, isn't it so